Okay, can everybody hear me clearly? Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
All right. PJ, can you lead us in opening prayer?
Okay, let's pray. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for the day that you gave to us, O Lord. Give us wisdom, Lord, to understand what Ma'am Benelux is saying, Lord. And give her wisdom also, Lord, in order for us to understand what is what she is teaching for us, Lord. And Lord, guide us, O Lord, and we can do we cannot do anything if without you, Lord. Uh, in Jesus' name I pray, Amen.
Thank you. Oh, it's exactly 10 o'clock in my watch. So, uh, don't forget that I think today is the last day if you want to be on time for your vocab exercises. So if you haven't submitted them yet, I think there are only a couple who have not submitted the last I checked. I forgot to check today. But so vocab the first vocab exercise is due today because we're starting a new set of words for your second vocab exercise. All right. Um, as I said before we start a new lesson or a new topic, we will have a new set of words for your vocabulary exercise. But I just wanted to clarify. I got I got confused with our schedule. Um, I think I was looking at the wrong day. So on Monday, we will meet at 10 o'clock. I actually have a class at 10 o'clock for senior high. So that's my dilemma. That's my problem. Uh, I'll have a think about that because just make sure that you go to our classroom uh, and check for announcement on what we will do on Monday for the makeup class. All right. I may end up just leaving you with a video lesson that you have to watch. Sorry about that. And then exercises for you to do afterwards. Um, although my class on Mondays uh, are only 30 minutes, 10 to 10:30, it's still not going to be productive if we decide to meet at 10:30, no? Before we get going, it's already time. So, yeah, I think that's what's gonna happen is I will leave in our Google Classroom, and I'll send a link to ASAF, so you can watch the video and then exercises afterwards. Okay? So we will not have a physical meeting on Monday, but watch the video lesson. And then we'll meet on Tuesday as scheduled. All right, got it, everyone? Yes? Thank you. All right. So we have finished discussing our lesson on um, sentence structure. At the end of your, I'll share my screen. All right. Let me just hide the things that are obscuring my view. Okay. Oh, I have that open. Yeah. At the end of the topic of sentence structure, you will see this bit, no? Basic sentence patterns. This is just for now, at this point, just an FYI, okay? Just for your information that when we write sentences, normally we follow a pattern. Yeah? 5 is the more common ones that are discussed or stressed, but there are other additional 2 common sentence patterns, no? We will be doing this, no? We will be later on, actually, when we start discussing verbs, we will actually go back and identify the sentence patterns of sentences. So you will say, oh, this is an SLVPN. Oh, this is an SLVPA. Oh, this is an STVDO type of sentence, etc. Okay, so here in your syllabus, this is just listing down the various sentence patterns. But we will dig deeper into these when we start discussing verbs. All right? Okay. So now, next topic, we start discussing sentence parts of speech already. Okay? But let's go ahead. I need how many volunteers? 2 volunteers. Either 2 females or a male and a female, because Joe can actually be a female name. Yeah, and I don't think yeah, so Joe can be a female or a male person. Use your raise hand, and the volunteers will just be reading through. Okay, Danielle. So you be Beth. I'll be the narrator. So whenever Beth speaks, you speak. Okay, you say Beth's lines, Danielle. And who will be Joe? Can be a male, can be a female. Who wants to be Joe? Okay, Joshua. So you're Joe with an E. All right. So, and then again, try to, if you're not familiar with the words in red, before you look it up in the dictionary, try to figure out the meaning based on the context. And then I'll show you the dictionary entries for these words. All right, so Danielle and Joshua, unmute yourselves. So everything in quotes, as long as it's for your character, you speak, and I'll do the narrating. Yes? All right, so let's get started. Beth and Joe were talking one day. Beth was obviously upset, and she said,
"You know what?"
What?
Joe asked.
"I was aghast to hear that a rock band will be having a concert here,"
exclaimed Beth.
Really? Why?
Asked Joe.
What do you have against rock bands? You in any way?
"Well, I don't like rock bands because they sometimes think they can act with impunity," retorted
Beth.
I am sure that the day of the concert will cause havoc in the city because of all of the traffic.
Joe said,
Calm down. I'm sure it won't be as bad as you think.
Beth tried her best to gain back her composure. When she has calmed down, she said,
Okay, I'm not saying this with rancor, but I sure hope all this clamor will die down soon.
okay, and that's it. And I think I need to change this, the has, to a had. I'm checking. I'm fixing my own grammar. Hang on a minute. Uh, there. Okay. So, quickly going back to our passage. First word is aghast. Yeah. So, write that down. And I am uploading in our classroom this material, this PowerPoint, but in a PDF form. Yeah, so you don't, unless it's your it's your, sorry, unless you still want to take notes, which is a good practice or a good idea. Don't worry, this material will be uploaded in our classroom, and I'll email it to you ASAP. And of course, you can look up the words in the dictionary. Yeah. Okay. So aghast. Okay. And then the next word is impunity. And then retort. It's a verb. The root word is retort, but it's used in the past tense. And then havoc. Yeah. And then last two words, rancor and clamor. Yeah. So let's look at the dictionary meanings of these words as per the context. No? Aghast is an adjective. And if you are aghast, you are struck with terror. It's like, oh, like that. That's kind of like the feeling if you are aghast, no? Horror, shocked. You're upset at what you see or what you hear. Okay, so aghast is an adjective. Next, impunity is a noun. That's the part of speech. No, it's a noun. And it means you are exempted from punishment. No, or not. It's not, the word impunity is not necessarily used for a person. It can be used for an act. Okay. The example given here, the laws were flouted with impunity. So flout is another kind of big word, no? So they don't care about the law, and they because they know they will not be punished, kind of. That's the thought there. Next, retort. So several meanings in our passage, in our reading passage. The closest meaning would be to answer back, no, or to return an argument. Yeah, because Joe and Beth were having a conversation. Okay. So when you retort, you're answering back. Sometimes you answer back sharply, but yeah, you're returning a counter argument. And then, so retort is a noun. Oh, sorry, a verb. Actually, it can also be a noun. Okay, Retort can also be a noun, which means it's an answer, it's a response. But in our passage, in the reading passage, the word was used as a verb. Okay? Next, havoc. It's a noun and it means devastation, general widespread destruction. Okay? Confusion, disorder. Yeah? It's usually applied to a situation. Okay? So you cannot apply it to a person. I am having such havoc. Well, I guess in my mind, there's such havoc in my mind. No? So you cannot apply it to a person, but to the feelings of a person, the emotions, the thoughts. That's fine. So it's situation or emotions. Rancor. Sometimes you might see this with a U. So RANCOUR. That's the British spelling, but without the U is the American English spelling, no? Oh, this is like such such a negative feeling, no? Bitter, deep-seated. It's like double negatives piling up to describe this feeling, no? Hatred, and clamor. Yeah? Noisy shouting or a loud continuous noise. I remember a passage in, I think it's in Acts, where there was such clamor because they were shouting for 2 hours, the Ephesians, right? Great is Diana or something like that. Right? So that can be described as a clamor. Okay? Any questions, clarifications? So, these are the 6 words that you will choose from for your next vocabulary exercise. Yes? So, as a reminder, when I check your work, you will get deductions if you do not follow capitalization, if you do not follow end marks, proper end marks. And since we are starting with our nouns, if you do not follow capitalization of proper nouns, if you do not follow proper writing the noun in its plural form. Okay, so those will be added to the things that I will be grading you on. Okay.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yes,
In using the verb, this was for both exercises.
you are
We could
breaking
only
up.
use them as
Can you say that again? But you're
in
breaking.
using these words for
What was that? You're muted. Or do you just want to type it in our chat box? Okay. Go ahead and type that, and then I'll bring up our lesson. Type your question. You typing, Ezekiel, your question? All right. Because I don't see it yet. We'll get back to your question, Ezekiel. Just make sure you just continue typing and then we will start. So nouns first. I'm sure you remember this from your grammar lesson, what nouns are, right? So person, place, thing, emotions, ideas, yeah? People, person, yeah. Okay, so this is not the point of our lesson. The point of our lesson is, first we want to be reminded that nouns can change in its form. Yeah, nouns can have different forms depending on the number, right? So we have singular, we have plural. Singular nouns that don't have S. As a general rule, that's not always the case. Yeah, but singular nouns, only one. Single, not married. Singular noun, only one. And then plural nouns are it's the same word but changed to indicate that there are more than one of that kind of noun. Yeah. So again, reminders for us. No, what are the rules? How do we make nouns plural? The general rule, add S or ES. When do you add S? When do you add ES? If the word ends with CH, SH, S, X, or Z, you add ES. For the rest, unless they're special nouns, you add S. So quickly, can you, if I call your name, just write on our screen. So annotate, no? An example of a word. So for example, Ezekiel, think of a word that ends with a CH and write it down in this blank. Yeah. Hopefully, we can have enough space. So Ezekiel, a word that ends with CH. Joshua, a word that ends with SH. Well, a noun, okay, in particular. A noun that ends with a CH. A noun that ends with an SH for you, Joshua. Joy, a noun that ends with an S. Just write the singular form. Okay? And then PJ, a noun that ends with an X. And Rumlix, a noun that ends with a Z. That's kind of hard, no? Okay. All right. Thank you, Ezekiel. So bench. It ends with a CH. So if you want to talk about a lot of bench, then we add ES, right? Benches. Okay, Joshua. And to get things going, I'll continue, no? So Danielle, you go to number 2, and I want you to write down a noun that ends with a Y. Yeah? Precious, a noun that ends with a Y but following a consonant. The Y should follow a consonant. Or never mind. Just Daniel and Precious, just think of a noun that ends with a Y. And then for number 3, I'm looking at the screen. Okay. Joshua, where's your word? Okay. Thank you, Danielle. Precious, a noun that ends with a Y. If it follows a consonant, write it on number 2. If it follows a vowel. Okay, so that's fine. Abby, for number 3, a noun that ends with a Y, but the Y should follow a vowel. Joshua, where's your word? Did we lose Joshua? Oh, I think we lost Joshua and Ezekiel because Ezekiel's frozen. All right, we'll wait for them. Joy. You are you are bending the rules. The noun that ends with an S should be a singular noun. Yeah, because you wrote bags. Yes, it does end with an S, but that's already a plural noun. Okay, so the noun should end with an S before you make it plural. Okay. PJ. Right. Okay. Right. So it ends with an X, so you add ES to make it plural. Romlix. Oh, we lost Romlix too. What's happening? Okay. Where are we? Okay. So if the noun ends with a Y, it follows a consonant like this. Yeah, you have a Y and then you have a consonant before it. What does the rule say? And you know this already, right? So you change the Y to an I and add ES, right? Same for bunnies. Yeah? But if the Y, well, if the Y follows a vowel, you do not do this. Does that, I'll write properly. Does this look familiar? Does that seem like a real word? It does not look familiar because we're not following the rules correctly, yeah? So you know it. Just add S because the Y follows a vowel. So a word that ends with an S, a noun that ends with an S, bus, we add ES. Buses, yeah? There will be exceptions to some rules. Can you erase your marks in our whiteboard? Thank you. So same thing, no? For F, words that end with F, okay, Venus. Can you think of a word, don't make it plural yet, a word that ends with an F, a noun that ends with an F? Christian. Okay, another noun that ends with an F. Jonalyn, give me another word also that ends with an F, noun. Okay. And as you know, no, sometimes this rule for number 4, the word does not necessarily have to end with an F. Sometimes I'm writing on the far right. The word can end with an E, but an F follows it. And we will still, the E follows an F. We will still use the rule, no? Change the F to a V and then ES, right? Christian, have you thought, Christian and Jonalyn, nouns that end with F? So while you're writing, of course, okay, thank you, leaf. For I'm seeing Ezekiel and Joshua's chat. Okay, staff. Okay, so loaf, right? Change the V to an E, add S or ES. Loaves, leaf, yeah. French, you cannot pluralize the word French because it's an, yeah. I haven't seen in any writing, and let me know if you have. This word, Frenches. Have you? How do you indicate a lot of French people? I just said it, right? You either say Frenchmen, French women, or French people, but I've not come across in any writing this word. However, for example, American, you can say Americans, right? You don't have to say American man or American men, American women. You could, but you can just add the word S. So I don't know, right? That's an exception. What else am I not, haven't I? So yeah, box, we talked about box already. All right. Remind me later to answer your question, Ezekiel, regarding the vocab words. Okay. And then for number 5, oh, staff. How do we pluralize? How do we make the word staff plural? Actually, it depends. No? Because the word staff can mean two things. It can mean the staff, like Moses' staff, right? Like a stick that you use to help you walk or stand. But, right, so from Ezekiel in our chat box, you can make the word staff staves. If we mean it's the stick, no, that helps you walk. But if by staff you mean like me, May, Karen, we're office staff, right? You cannot say, oh, the staves are here. And you're talking about May, me, and Karen. Especially since we are not, maybe May. We're not like stick men. We're not thin enough to be considered sticks. Right? So if we're talking about staff as in workers in an office, yeah, then that word is considered a collective noun. And we'll talk about collective nouns if not today, on Tuesday, or as part of our video discussion. Yeah? So if you're talking about staff as office staff, you cannot make that plural because it's a collective noun. Yeah? It already implies many people. Okay? Okay. And then, number 5. Oops. Sorry. Number 5 says, and can we erase the loaf and the staff? Okay. Words that end with O, it's a toss-up. Sometimes you just add S, sometimes you add ES. Tomato, tomato, kind of, right? But interestingly, I don't know if it's a common knowledge, there's supposedly a rule that if the term that ends with an O is a music term, then you just add S. Like soprano, alto, piano. Yeah? You don't add ES, you just add S. Okay? So that's an interesting rule. I don't know why. Maybe because a lot of music related words come from Italian. I don't know. But that's a rule in English grammar that music related words ending with an O, you just add S. Cello. Yeah? All right. And then, can you think of words? Just okay, in the chat box, all of you. But don't, as much as possible, look at what everyone's written already so you don't repeat words. But think of special words that don't follow any rule. And you have to really just know how to spell the plural version. So like, for example, and don't write this anymore, man. Yeah? You don't say mans. I saw 3 mans in the mall yesterday. Okay? So, as we all know, or should know by now, right? The plural of man is men. So in the chat box, I guess we'll go by turn. So when I call your name, just start thinking of words already. When I call your name, you write down singular, plural. So woman, this is how you will write on the chat box. Woman, women. All right? We will continue. I think, Christian, have you had your turn a while ago? Okay. Asaph, can you think of a word, a special noun, noun, that you don't add S to make it plural? Can you type on our chat box? PJ, have you had your turn for this bit? Because your videos have rearranged on my screen. Yeah, I think you have had your turn, no? Joshua, Romnick. Okay, so we're going back. Ezekiel. Okay. Jonalyn, yes. So mouse, mice. Don't use that anymore. Ezekiel. Did you freeze again or no? Can't think. There are lots of words, yeah? Okay, mouse, mice. Oh, whoever has something, just quickly type on your screen. Child, yes. Right? So child, children. Sheep. Yes. Sheep, what's the plural for sheep? Sheep. Yeah, again, I don't know why, but sheep is 10 sheep, right? You don't say, I saw 10 sheeps. No, no such word. So sheep, sheep. Goose, geese, yes. Foot, yep, right? And then we know the plural for that is feet. Guy, actually, it's not a special word. You can just add S and it becomes plural for guy. What else? Another interesting thing, when I was growing up, no, our grammar teachers would emphasize that the plural for fish, yeah, is actually also fish. No? You don't say fishes. But I guess since a lot of people insisted on saying fishes is plural, even the dictionary um, had started accepting fishes as a plural for fish. Okay? But originally, growing up, fish, many fish is correct. Okay? What else? What else? Ox, right? Oxen. What else? I'm sure you know a lot. It's just when you're racking your brains, sometimes you you forget that you know those words. Okay, what is the plural for, right, tooth, teeth? Yeah. What's the plural for moose? And honestly, I also don't know. Like, I'm not sure. Because I've not seen mooses in any of, I don't think I've encountered mooses. Nah? So maybe, yeah, like deer. Deer, there's no such word as deers. Right? So that's plural. Um, I will check in the dictionary what the plural is for moose, but I think it is also moose. Yeah, because I've not encountered mooses anywhere. Yeah. What is the plural for person? Type it or write it on our screen. Got you. And that's always kind of like a trick question actually, because yeah, right? Person can actually be plural, right? So you can actually write persons. But a lot of people, when we ask when I ask that kind of tricky question, what's the plural for person? They immediately think people. Yeah. So I got um some of you got tricked, I think. Right? Um Chinese. Okay. Yeah, that's special also, no? You also cannot say Chineses. I'm not right? Even when you say it, it sounds funny because no such thing as uh, a word Chineses. So when you want to talk about a lot of Chinese, then you say people or Chinese men, Chinese women, right? So um, when in doubt, what do? You go to the dictionary and check it out. Yeah, because the dictionary will give you, if the word is a special word, then it will tell you the plural form. If it's silent, if the dictionary does not tell you the plural form of a word, then it will follow the rules that we've discussed. Add S, add ES, change I to Y, things like that. Yeah? Change Y to I. All right? And then another way that uh, ooh, wait a minute, that words, nouns in particular, no, change in its form is when you want to indicate that the noun owns something, right? So they're called the possessive nouns. We've talked about singular nouns, we've talked about plural nouns. Now we're talking about possessive nouns. So if a noun owns something, then you make it possessive. And the normal rule is, right, you add an apostrophe and an S if the noun is singular, right? And that's why we need to know all these things. Why do we need to know what's the plural form? Why do we need to know the singular form? Because we also need to know what to do to make the noun possessive. This again is like a common thing that we forget or that we have forgotten. So singular noun that owns something. Well, we talked about person, yeah? So if we say the hat of a person, then we can make this shorter and we can say a person's hat, right? So if the noun is singular, you just put apostrophe S at the end. What we might have forgotten, or maybe it was not stressed to us, is even if the singular noun ends with an S, we still do the apostrophe S. So if we say wheels of a bus, singular, what we do is we say a lot of us maybe grew up forgetting this rule, or maybe we were taught differently, and we will say a bus's wheel, because maybe what we learned was if the word ends with an S, you just put an apostrophe. That's actually not the rule in grammar. Yeah, but a lot, even in books, I would see things written down this way, no, just putting apostrophe, just putting an apostrophe at the end of a word that ends with an S. But the American grammar, I think British grammar also, the rule is even if the noun ends with an S, if it's singular, then you write it this way. Okay? Another interesting tidbit, except if the word is the name Jesus or the name Moses. I don't know why that's an exception, but if you research, you will find this in most grammatical writings. No? The word Jesus, the word Moses. That's an exception. You just add an apostrophe. But for example, if we're saying the car care. What? The car of Mr. All right? The proper way of writing this, if you want to make Mr. Jones a possessive noun, is that kind of looks funny to us, right? Because I think a lot of us growing up, this rule was not emphasized too much. Okay? And maybe it's already accepted. I mean, what we grew up with. Maybe this is already accepted because I would see this form in writing a lot already. Okay? But in this class, because we want to be strict and follow the rules in your quiz, in your vocabulary exercises, you remember this rule. Okay? This is what we will follow. Yeah? And I will mark you wrong, or I will deduct points from you if you do not follow this rule. Okay? So, the rule is if the word, any noun in the singular form that you want to make a possessive noun, you add apostrophe S. Even if the noun, the singular noun, ends with an S. Yes? That's what we will follow. And then, of course, we'll just wrap up this discussion. Plural nouns, because most of the time, plural nouns already end with S, then you just add apostrophe at the end. Yeah? And then if you have children, for example, this is a special noun. This is plural, but it does not end with S, then you do have to add apostrophe S. Yeah? So this is where we will end, and just go to our Google Classroom on Monday at the same time that we were supposed that we will have met, or at the time that we are supposed to be meeting. Just go to the Google Classroom and then watch the video that I will post there and do the exercise that I will give there also. Yep. Okay. Oh, and whoa, hey, stop. I don't know what happened. Don't look at the screen. I'll stop sharing. Okay, and to quickly answer Ezekiel's question, where is your question? We can only use these words, yes, based on the context of our reading passage. So for example, the word retort, as I mentioned, it can be a noun or a verb, but use it as a verb. Okay, because in our passage, that's how we use the word. Yeah? Okay? So I will see you on Tuesday, but you have a video class to watch on Monday. Yep. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a nice weekend.